Hello and welcome to this special episode of the CORDIScovery podcast. We're diving into one of the most transformative forces shaping the world today, artificial intelligence and machine learning. From health to the environment, mobility, industry, culture and beyond, AI is changing how we live and work. I'm joined by representatives of 4 projects that have received funding from the EU's Horizon Europe programme, and these projects show the potential of AI and machine learning to drive innovation and competitiveness, while ensuring that they develop in a trustworthy, ethical and human-centred way. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have with me Thomas Gutt, who is Director of Funding Projects and Coordination at Infineon Technologies in Munich. Thomas is the coordinator of the AIMS 5.0 project. Welcome, Thomas.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
And I have on my left George Nikolakopoulos, representing the Persephone project. George is a professor in robotics and artificial intelligence at the Luleå University of Technology in Sweden. And he's had some collaborations with NASA, I believe, in the past as well.
Correct. Thank you for the invitation. Nice meeting you all.
Very good to have you with us, George. We also have Sophia Alexandersson with us at the table. Sophia is representing the Muse IT project. She's Chief Executive and Artistic Director of ShareMusic and Performing Arts, the Swedish Knowledge Centre for Artistic Development and Inclusion. Welcome, Sophia.
Thanks for having me.
And finally, we have Alessandro Kartsiaklis, originally from Italy, then moved to Greece, and these days based in Denmark. He is currently CEO of NaviBlind after a career beginning in the organization as an intern. So it's been a really impressive ascension through the ranks. And we're very happy to have you with us here, Alessandro.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
So, Thomas, if I could start with you, your project uses artificial intelligence to improve the sustainability of European industry. At least that's the objective, I believe. Can you explain how you're doing that?
Yeah, the sustainability is an important topic, but AI in manufacturing is the other very big topic. Yeah, we are using AI in our daily communication now when we use ChatGPT. But using it in industry seems to be much more difficult. But there is a huge potential using that. Yeah, and that's why we are doing this with a broader consortia. We have 53 partners from 9 industrial domains. That's what we want to do. We are not just focusing on one domain. We think we can learn from each other, and by this, incorporating more than one domain.
Could you give us an example? I mean, in what kind of practical ways could your project potentially improve eco-friendly manufacturing?
Yield learning is a very good example. That means we're examining all the data with AI, learning much more about our products, and with that, creating higher yields. And if we have higher yields, that means with the same input energy, we can produce more chips than before. That means the energy per chip that was used is reduced. That's one of the ways to sustainability. Another way, for instance, driving out unwanted materials like PFAS. Yeah, these are different ways to sustainability.
Okay. And I think you're developing through the project some very practical tools that companies can use, guidelines, checklists, and that kind of thing if they're interested in applying AI in their manufacturing processes. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, we have, let's say, 2 group of work packages. One is where all the use cases are. That will be our results. Yeah, but there is as well the input technologies. Yeah, for instance, the AI gym, how we call that. That is the collection of the different AI tools that will be compared and allowing the partners to compare the tools and learn from each other. I think that's something which makes us special, and we are putting a lot of focus in this, that one can learn from the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say an AI gym, is the idea that you go from kind of one exercise, to flex different AI muscles?
Yeah, like this. Yeah, improving our work by gym, like one machine where you improve your muscles,
Right.
but you see as well the neighbor machine. Yeah, and see if it's maybe more effective or it can be more useful for what you're doing.
Okay.
And that's like you're together in this room and learn from each other.
Okay, thanks for that. Let me turn to you next, George. As I said, you're representing the Persephone project here, and we're actually recording this podcast at the Research and Innovation Days. We have an exhibition space where all of you actually are presenting your projects. But definitely one of the big attractions downstairs is your robotic dog. So perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that and how it's part of your project to develop solutions to explore and extract deep mineral deposits.
Yes, exactly. And I think the robot dog is a very nice example of a project that generates autonomy, for example, for inspecting deep and abandoned mines. And what we have in the exhibition is a live proof that the exact technology that has been operating in a mine is here. People can see it, touch it, interact with a full autonomous device. So the project is focusing on how to inspect these deep and abandoned mines and search for minerals, in order to then process all the data, and all this could be used as a tool to take decisions, or if the abandoned mines will be reopened, how safe is operations, what minerals exist, and what actions will be taken.
Right. And can you just explain briefly why is it important to go deeper to extract minerals?
Very correct. Because specifically in abandoned mines, and the access of humans is completely forbidden. It's absolutely no place to go there. You cannot even enter in 1-2 meters. And the reason is simple. These mines have been closed for 100 years, 60 years. They're not producing minerals anymore. So it's completely forbidden for humans to enter. So the only tool that you have is these robots to go inside, inspect the environment, take some sampling, drilling. We do that also in the Persephone project. Same situation with the deep mines that we're talking about, deposits that are more than 1 kilometer deep in there. So it's very difficult conditions, very warm, and the only solution again is to send robots, fully autonomous robots. There are no humans in the loop. There are not remote pilots of them, in order to inspect the situation, track the ore, and take decisions how the mine planning, how the mine development should take place.
Right. So it's to do with human safety. It's to do with accessing areas you wouldn't be able to access.
Number one, human safety.
Yeah.
A second, also that we collect billions of data that only, since you mentioned about AI, only the AI tools can process this information in a multi-dimensional approach. So we combine samples, libs, spectral cameras, and then we take decisions about how the ore is laying down in the mine. So that's the second reason.
Okay. There's a lot of talk about digital twins these days.
Yes.
I believe your project also has that kind of dimension. Can you say a bit about that?
Yes, so we have on the autonomous systems, a fundamental operation is the localization. The answer, where am I for a robot? Every robot should know his position. So we use advanced sensor lidars to track the space. So we do a spatial recognition, but also we use the sensors to build a map where the robots or other mining machines can operate. And with these robots, we can, let's say, create digital twins, map representations or point clouds in robotics of kilometers. And we can combine existing maps with new maps. We can combine maps coming from different robots. It's called multi-session robotic mapping. And then we can localize on these maps measurements on ore density, on ore type, and provide this information to experts to take decisions on how the mine will develop.
Okay. Thanks very much, George. Come back to you a bit in a moment in the discussion, but let's move on now. I'd like to bring in Sophia, who's here, as I said, representing the Muse IT project. I think the fundamental aim of this project is to improve access to cultural heritage through technology. And I know you have a special music platform that you would like to talk about, but can you just begin by giving us a kind of overall introduction to the project?
All right. So Muse IT is really focusing on how can we find new ways of dealing with arts and culture and going beyond perhaps sight and hearing, using other sensories like haptics, etc. So it's about multimodality. It's about making sure that everyone should have equal rights to not only experience art, but also to explore it in the way that you actually would like to maybe have your own participation in focus. So we have been working for the last 3 years in many different ways to explore this. This is everything from developing haptics. For example, let's say you have a painting on the wall. How can we explore that? Not only looking at it, not only having someone describing it, but maybe having the sound, which is like equal to the painting, or having a haptic sensation of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And have you been working with museums and cultural centres to actually introduce some of these accessible options?
Yeah, we have. We are 12 partners in the project. We are spanning from companies to cultural institutions to ourselves, which is a disability organization, I wouldn't say, but we are a knowledge center who is focusing on disability inclusion. So we have been, of course, doing lots of workshops. In particular, in our parts of the project, we have been meeting lots of also individuals, disabled individuals, and people who are working with them to really also go for this kind of really user aspect, designing, not trying to create something which is not in use or in need for anyone. So yes, we have been meeting a lot. So I would say cultural institutions is also a very important target group for the project.
Okay. And are there any particular obstacles you've encountered in introducing this kind of technology into those spaces?
No, I can't really say that. I think it's more obstacles is more about what are the barriers today.
Right.
I really to also look into, I think accessibility have been very much about maybe focusing on physical things, first of all, but like Borås University, which is a lead partner, they have been working a lot with deafblind people and really looking into technology, especially with haptics and so on, which is like ensuring also other types of ways of working and to really overcome these type of barriers. But what we have been trying to really go into is to not having the disability itself in focus, but rather how do we make sure that everyone can participate.
I see. And I promised that I would give you a chance to talk about your remote performance platform for co-creating music, which sounds really exciting. So as far as I understand, the platform ensures synchronized sound and interaction using haptics and biodata. It allows musicians to rehearse, perform, express feelings and experiment together as if they were together physically in the same space. Where did the idea come from?
It's actually an idea we've been working quite a lot with for many years at ShareMusic. So actually, when we got the invitation to this consortium, we said we would love to work and develop this further because we do think it fits into this call. So I think it was really kind of an emergent situation coming up during the pandemic. We all had to stay at home, and especially for musicians, it did become a really hard thing. How do you play together? Because, obviously, Zoom and everything, you had to sing happy birthday to each other, and it just sounded horrible because you are not in sync.
Yeah, the latency.
No, but for a lot of disabled people, the situation we had during the pandemics is like their daily life.
I see.
They had limited possibilities to maybe take part in work life, to study lots of things, not for all of them, but for some people, these distances are there. So for us, this situation has been something we have been kind of looking into in general. How can we have equal access for people to participate, even have it as their own work? So the idea really came out. And then we also had a chance to being introduced to JackTrip, which is a technology which has been developed by Stanford. So which is about reducing, working with low latency. So what we have done during the project is really that we have also added new technology, developing both JackTrip further on, but also other technologies. So we are coming to the next phase because what is missing when you are online, it's the emotions. How do you share the emotions? We are in the same room here right now. We can feel each other, our bodies are picking up things. But what happens when we go online? It's really hard. And it's very important when you want to play and collaborate with people. So we have been looking into ways of how you can share that online. So what we are showing downstairs here now is that people can actually try two things. One is we're using face recognition, and then you can get, we ask people to smile into the camera, and then on the screen you can see projected your emotions.
I see. And if there are any musicians out there who are listening to us or watching this podcast, is this technology freely available? Can people access the platform?
Not the platform itself. It's still a proof of concept right now. So we need to take it to the next level. So it can, both the technology needs to be more advanced. And then in the end, of course, it's going to be what we think a service which can be available through licensing. That's the plan, at least. But I mean, Jacktrip in itself is available, and some other technologies are also available.
Okay, thanks very much, Sophia. And now I'd like to turn to Alessandro, who's with us from NaviBlind, which is a project that's developed a GPS navigator that enables blind and visually impaired people to walk independently to a destination. And I believe you actually have something you can show us to explain exactly how
Yes, I do. So this is the hardware that we are using. It contains a small satellite navigation unit. I won't say GPS because GPS is the American version. We also have the European Galileo and the Russian and Chinese counterpart. So here in the cap, we have a small GNSS processing unit and a flat.
And it really is small for those who are listening to us who can't see. I mean, what is it, about 2 or 3 centimeters by 4 or 5 centimeters, something like that?
Maybe a bit more, but it's still very light and compact. This allows us to get an accuracy in positioning that can be up to a few centimeters in very open spaces, but we try to provide navigation with an accuracy of at least 30 to 40 centimeters when in urban environments, so that we can monitor step by step the route of our users and also tell them when to turn, when to stop, and provide them a quick description of the most important features.
Right. And is this still at the prototype stage, or are you making it available commercially?
No, this is actually our MVP. So we had our prototype for a couple of years.
Okay.
We had around 20 users trying it. They loved it because when we moved to the MVP, all of them signed up.
Right.
So right now we have around 20 active users, independent, and around...
And are they using it every day in their lives?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Pretty much, yes. It's mostly useful when they have to learn a new route they are not familiar with. So it's also an alternative to mobility and orientation trainings, which can take even up to 1.5 months.
Right.
With our solution, we of course spend some time doing a quality assurance on the routes, but within 48 hours the users have the route they have requested. So yeah.
And what kind of feedback do you get from the users? What kind of difference does it make to them on a day-to-day basis?
Well, for many of them, it's life-changing. So basically the idea for this product stemmed out of a personal necessity of a friend of ours, Emil, who is today also a communication manager in the company. He moved from a small city outside Copenhagen to Copenhagen a few years ago to study in his university. So he suddenly found himself in a completely new environment. He had to learn how to go to the public transport. He had to learn how to go to university, to the local shops. So what we set out to do with NaviBlind was to create a first network of points of interest for him, and this was the way he started his master years, with NaviBlind guiding him through the network of the city.
Okay.
So yeah, for users, this technology can be life-changing because, as I mentioned, it can bring down planning and preparation time for mobility by a big percentage. And also enables users to actually be independent in navigation, to choose active mobility over a taxi service, and explore new places. So we try to offer leisure opportunities, work opportunities, education opportunities, and socializing also for our users.
Right. listening to all of you, it seems to me that one of the things you have in common is that you all work with quite a lot of different partners within the consortia for the projects, but also you have different stakeholders. You're working with user groups, disabled people, in the case of Muse IT and NaviBlind, etc. Working with the mining industry, with the manufacturing industry. How have you found that experience during the project? What obstacles have you faced? What lessons have you learned, so that you could maybe share with others who are embarking on similar projects? Perhaps George, you'd like to go first.
I have a very nice example I think you're absolutely right. For example, in robotics, when we say exploration, we mean how the robot will explore an unknown environment. But in the mining industry, when you say exploration, it means how you can find minerals. So it took us maybe two years to set up the vocabulary.
Words are important.
Yes. And of course, Persephone is not our first project, but when we started working in the mining industry, it was a problem that we should overcome. And another thing is that the mining industry wants to see solutions, autonomy, automation also in real life. They want to see things being demonstrated in real life conditions. And I think that is something that gave us a very good inspiration to develop systems that will have resiliency, will be able to operate under unknown conditions in unstructured and harsh environments. So we learned a totally different way of thinking and developing systems.
Very interesting. Sophia, do you have a story you could share?
I'm just trying to think about that. Well, I think in general, I think what has been really interesting during these 3 years has been that we all come from very different perspectives, but we have had inclusion and access at the kind of core point. But for an organization like ShareMusic, who's been working for such a long time, certain things are just in our backbone, really, You don't even think about it. And then you have to rephrase it, perhaps, as you say, or you have to redescribe it. And also I think one main question is for me really also, how can you embed accessibility and inclusion so it really becomes the norm? You don't really have to add it as a kind of add-on when you work with it. And I think that is something which is really a big takeaway. How do you do that?
Right. Thanks very much. How about you, Alessandro, in your project NaviBlind?
We keep learning on multiple levels. So when we started, for example, one of our main concerns was the technology, how to make it compact, how to make it reliable. Then as we move on, we see that there is also an aspect of interpretation of guidance, or like the correct way to provide instructions to the users. We also at some point had to talk about the design and stylistic aspect, which we hadn't thought so much about it. So the choice of different colors in the cap was something that was suggested by the users themselves. And now that we are expanding into the German market from our base in Denmark, we see that we have to do a lot of work to translate the requirements of the German audience, which may sound strange, but is quite different from the Danish.
Okay.
So yeah,
it's not just about language; it's about acceptance of the technology.
Yes, exactly. Not only that, but also lifestyle, the rapport with the public organizations of different kinds. So yeah, it's very interesting, and we keep learning.
Yeah. And Thomas, I mean, you have a huge consortium, as you said earlier on. It must have been not always easy to get all of those partners together and agree on a common direction, I guess.
I would say you need a strong steering team. And I mentioned that equilibrium is important. Equilibrium between industry and academic partners. Yeah, and I think this is really a very healthy connection. Yeah, because the industry provides interesting data and gets to know the future talents. Yeah, and the academic partners, they can work with their students really deep into topics. It's something which is very healthy for both sides. And that's what I like. And we really focus on that we have this in a good equilibrium. That means the amount of partners in industry is roughly the amount of partners in the academia.
Very interesting. Well, I mean, it sounds like there've been a lot of learnings in your different projects, a lot of progress made, but still some way to go for all of you. You have ambitions. You're all working in areas where things are moving very quickly, robotics, AI, technology more generally. If you were to have your crystal ball and look ahead 5 years into the future, where would you ideally like to see your projects developing? Perhaps, Sophia, would you like to go first?
All right. I think it's pretty clear where we are heading towards. So for the remote performance platform, I think in 5 years' time, we do foresee we are ready to take it into the market somewhere to share it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Thank you.
How about you, Thomas?
5 years in the future, well, I'm really hoping that we see a much deeper integration of AI in manufacturing, because I think it's really helpful and we all will benefit a lot of that.
Okay.
That's what we see in 5 years.
And people will be going to work out in your AI gym.
Yes. But the people are still in the project or in the work. That's the reason why we have this 5.0, because as Industry 5.0 is reincorporating the person, the worker in the process. We are not replacing him with robots, but we make a good new co-work between machines, robots, and the human being.
Very important, yeah. Alessandro?
Yes, well, we hope in 5 years we have entered the largest, at least the European market, but also internationally. We hope we will keep developing new sensors and new tools that we can integrate in our solution, but also develop new solutions for accessibility and mobility more in general, and not only for blind and partially sighted people, but for everyone that can face mobility issues in their daily life.
So potentially a huge market for you there.
Yeah.
And do you think you can stay here in Europe and do that?
We would like to. I mean, we in the phases of our future development, we are incorporating as much as we can EU technologies. So even when it comes to AI, we would like to try first European models, as also supporting the AI strategy from the European Union and the European Commission. So as much as we can European models, and if we cannot, of course, we prioritize safety of our users and the user experience.
Yeah. Thanks very much. And how about you, George?
For us, we call it zero entry mining. It means that you create mines that there is no human in the loop, totally zero entry. I am afraid that this will not happen in 5 years, but I envision a future that there will be more autonomy on the mining machines, reduction of humans operating in risk areas, also smaller mining machines, smaller impact on the environment, and totally safe and responsible extraction of minerals.
Okay, well, I'm afraid we've run out of time. We could continue, I'm sure, fascinating topics, but I'd like to thank our guests, George, Alessandro, Thomas, and Sophia. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks also to you for tuning in to this special edition of the CORDIScovery podcast. You can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and please do check out the podcast homepage on the Cordis website. Subscribe to make sure the hottest research in EU-funded science isn't passing you by. And you can also find more information and project examples on the Cordis website, on the European Commission's Research and Innovation website, and in our online magazine, Horizon.